Service, Criminology, Villagonzalo. This is my 2 hours reading by my module, sir, because I have no books yet. So, I will start now, sir. So, lesson 1, early development of policing and tracing the evolution of policing in the Philippine setting. Lesson objective. At the end of this module, you should be able to first trace the early development of policing in the international context, and second, trace the development of policing in the Philippines. Lesson 1, review, introduction. Law enforcement administration and organization. But first, let me ask you this: what are your expectations? So this is activity 1, content notes. I believe you are quite excited, police officers perform their job and other relevant information. But therefore, let us know the history of police. Politia come from Greek word meaning government of a city. Applied to civil service, not necessary police officer. Romans changed it to slightly to politia. Politia. French changed it to police. Applied to persons who actually enforce law. English borrowed the word in use to describe the law enforcement officer. Cooper or cop. In England, cop from chief of police, constable on patrol, by European word cop, which means to catch or seize. Government of a city. Politia. B. Ancient police. Ancient Babylon. Babylonian clay tablet that shows a report from Babylonian officer to his superiors. A report from Babylonian officer to his superiors. Temple guards and watchmen was mentioned in Holy Bible, whose duty is to protect the city and arrest violators of the king's order. Temple and guards. Ancient Egypt. Egyptian organized a police force. They are not members of military force. Vigiles, formed by Augustus, the first Roman emperor, which mean purposeful or watchful, staying awake. They were armed with staves or wood or metal. They are tasked to keep peace and fight fires. Take note, police cop, constable and patrol all belong from the French. Police, cop, constable and patrol all belong to French. Patroller is the French word of patrol, which means to go through the paddles. So there are four Middle Ages. First, frank pledge system or mutual pledge. A community is divided into groups of 10 men, named tithings or tithing men. They are responsible for the conduct of each other and to band together for their community's protection. A community is divided into 10 groups. This is frank pledge system. Second, members are responsible to arrest of the violator. The 10 men names tithings or tithing men, one in frank pledge system. Second, hue and cry. The complainant or victim goes to the middle of the community and shout, call all male residents to assemble. The victim reports his complaint to the assembly. All male residents will go after the criminal. This is the hue and cry frank pledge system. Third, Shire Reeve system. Shire means district. Each country is being taken care of. Reeve, a ruler who made laws, passed judgment, and imposed punishment. Moni siya Reeve, Shire district, Shire. The Reeve is appointed by the king, and directly report to the king. Its enforcement of laws and orders. 4. Keepers of the peace. King Richard of England in 1195 commissioned certain knights to preserve peace in unruly areas. They were responsible to the king for ensuring that the law was upheld and preserved the king's peace. There are four in frank pledge system or mutual pledge. You in crime means since the victim will shout at the center. Frank pledge system consists with 10 men or 10 tithing men. They are essential for the conduct. Frank pledge system, ang share system, ginarule siya sa isa ka reeve. Shire means district. Keeper of the peace, they were serving for the king, ensuring that the law was upheld. There were commissioned certain knights. There were assigned to preserve peace in unruly areas. Morning keeper of the peace, frank pledge system, yung cry, share system. Kritiya, bibili niyan. Introduction from the simplest social structure of the family to the most complex and community of nations. It is essential that certain norms and conduct are to be established and observed in order to ensure that the culturally harmonious relationship among its members are preserved and maintained. It is the field of law enforcement that police are most involved in the complicated interrelationship within a social structure. The effectiveness of the police organization is essentially dependent on the manner the same is managed, administered, and controlled, and most especially on the trust that citizens plenty of policing business bestow upon it. So this is next. Organization is an association or group of individuals with a common goal. It is a structured group of individuals and function into productive relationship. Association, a group of individuals with common goal. Group with individuals with common goal. This is organization. Next, administration refers to the general managing and organizing that occurs to the highest level of an organization. It entails establishment of the department's overall purpose. Gains, moral, southern England. This is the highest form of organization. General managing, organizing. So next, police organization, a structured group of trained personnel dealt with achieving qualifying goals and objectives. Ang police organization pod kay trained personnel. Next, law enforcement is the prevention and control of crimes, enforcement of laws, and effective the arrest of offenders that conduct of lawful seizures to gather necessary evidence. Ang law enforcement, prevention and control of crime. Prevention and control of crime. Ano yung law enforcement? Ang organization is a group of people that has common goal. Administration is the highest level of an organization. Police organization is a group of trained personnel. Law enforcement, it is they prevent the prevention and control of crimes. The prevention and control of crimes. Evolution of policing in the Philippines setting. Pre-Spanish era. In the Philippines, the cabeza de barangay was the head and the leader of a group of settlers. The discipline and punishment as well as the conduct of the government were made by the barangay head. As the population increased, the cabeza had to appoint trustworthy people to protect their villages. These appointed people are eyes and ears of the barangay head. So, cabeza de barangay is the leader of group of settlers. Cabeza had to appoint. If the population increased, the cabeza had to appoint certain people to be his ear. So, B. Policing system during the Spanish regime. First, Carabineros de Seguridad Pública, the first organized police force in 1712 and known as Mounted Police. Mounted Police purpose is to carry out regulations of the Spanish government. The Carabineros and members of the Spanish Royal Degree December 20, changed his name to Di Cabera de Seguridad de Publica. Second, Guardelieros. By virtue of Royal Decree, January 18, the first rural peace or the first rural organization in each town. Their functions were maintained public security in order patrolling in dark and unsafe places, guarding the Sabanan municipal building, person's house. It was composed of 5% of the bodies. Third is Guardia Civil. It was created by virtue of Royal Decree, February 12, 18. The purpose of creation was to relieve the Spanish militia policing function. It was composed of Filipinos under the Guardia Civil, composed Filipinos and rural areas. Unsafe. Keepers of the peace. Keepers of the peace. Guardia Civil, composed of Filipino, maning Guardia Civil. To relieve the Spanish, maning Guardia Civil, Guardiarilleros, ang Carabineros de Seguridad Publica. They are the first organized police force and is known as mounted police. Guardiarilleros is function were maintaining the public security in the rural area. The first rural peace organization. The first rural peace organization mo ning Guardiarilleros. Ang first police force mo ning Carabineros de Seguridad Publica. Ang Guardia Civil is to purpose to relieve the Spanish militia in its policing function. Composed of Filipino personnel. So, see, America occupation. America occupation. American occupation. First is Insular Constabulary. The Philippine Commission organized the Insular Police Force through Act number 175 on July 18, 1901. They were tasked to preserve peace, keeping order and enforcing law. What is Insular Constabulary? The Philippine Commission organized the Insular Force through Act number 175 on July 18, 1901. They were tasked to preserve peace, keeping order, and enforcing law. Next is Manila Police Department. By virtue of 183 of the Second Philippine Commission, the Manila Police Department was organized on July 31, 1901, under the leadership of Captain George Curry as its first Chief of Police. Captain George Curry, the Philippine Captain George Curry, maning first Chief of Police. Philippine Constabulary. It was organized on October 3, 1901 by virtue of Act 255. Majority were Filipinos under the supervision of American officers headed by Captain Henry T. Allen, being the first Police Constabulary. Chief of Police Constabulary. The Constabulary was the national police institution for preserving the peace, keeping the order, enforcing the laws as provided under Section 825 of the Revised Administrative Code of 1917 for Bureau of Investigation. Act number 181, November 1938, created the Bureau of Investigation. The modification of Division of Investigation from DOJ on June 19, 1947, RA 157 was enacted, which created the National Bureau of Investigation. Sa Insular, sa Manila Police Department, the first Chief of The first Chief of Police si Captain George Curry. Captain George Curry, first Chief of Police. Chief of Philippine Constabulary 1 kay si Captain Henry T. Allen. Then take note, Brigadier General Rafael Crame was the first Filipino Chief of Police of the Philippine Constabulary. Colonel Antonio was the first Filipino cop when the MPD became an all-Filipino police organization. Sa Manila Police Department, ang first chief Torres was the first Filipino cop when the MPD became an all-Filipino police organization. Si Colonel Antonio C. Torres, first cop sa Police Constabulary, the first Chief of Philippine Constabulary kay si Brigadier General Rafael Crame. So, Japanese occupation, Kimpitai, Japanese military police held responsible in maintaining peace and order in Manila and adjacent areas until General Douglas MacArthur returned on February 7, 1945. The Manila Police Department was named Metropolitan Constabulary under the supervision of the Bureau of Constabulary. Japanese military police muling Kimpitai, Japanese military police held by national maintaining peace in order Manila adjacent until General Douglas MacArthur returned on February 7, 1945. The Manila Police Department was renamed Metropolitan Constabulary under the supervision of the Bureau Constabulary. So printed notes. Development of police service in the Philippines after World War II. Development of police service in the Philippines after World War II. RA 2678 was enacted. This law provides the expansion of pre-organization of the NBI. NBI is both an investigative and a research service agency. Was enacted, and this law provides the expansion of pre-organization of NBI. NBI is both an investigative and research service agency. RA 2678, Republic Act 4864, Police Act of 1966. It created a police commission, later called as NAPOLCOM, under the office president. Its function was to oversee the training and professionalization of the local police officers. PD 765 was issued establishing constituting the integrated national police. It is stipulated that the office of NAPOLCOM should be under the Ministry of National Defense. It defined also the relationship between integrated national police and the police constabulary. RA 6975, the IG Act of 1990, it created the PNP and declared that the only police force in the country that is national scope and civilian in character. RA 965, the DILG Act of 1990 created that PNP is declared the only police force in the country that is national in scope and civilian character. So RA 8551, PNP Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998. It amended some provision of RA 6975. It reorganized PNP for the purpose of reforming and professionalizing. PNP performed the Reorganization Act of 1998. So RA 2678, this was enacted the expansion of NBI. RA 4864, the created of NAPOLCOM or Police Commission. The Police Commission later called NAPOLCOM. RA 267A, muna ang expansion of NBI. RA 2678, the expansion of NBI. RA 4864, RA 4864, RA 4864, created of Police Commission or later called Napolcom. PD 765 was issued establishing integrated was establishing and constituting the integrated national police. It stipulated that the office of the Napolcom should be under Ministry of National Defense. Napolcom should under the PD 765, RA 6975, the creation of created PNP and declared that it is the only police of force in the country. This national scope and civilian character. RA 6975, PNP is declared the only police force. The only police force. RA 8551, PNP reform and organization. It amended some provisions of RA 6975. It reorganized the PNP for the purpose of reforming and professionalizing it. Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998. It amended some provisions. It reorganized the PNP for the purpose of reforming and professionalizing it. RA 9851, RA 6975, PD 765, RA 2678, RA 2678, ang RA 2678 expansion of NBI. RA 4864, 4864 creation. RA 2678, RA 26, so RA 2678, RA 2678 was enacted this law. RA, so there are four. Kimpitai is the Japanese police force. Kimpitai is the first, the Japanese police force. Japanese development of police for police service in the Philippines. RA 2678, RA 2678, the expansion. RA 2678, the expansion of NBI. RA 4864, the creation of Police Commission. RA 4864, RA 2678, the expansion of NBI. RA 4864, RA 4864, RA 4864, the creation of Napolcom. RA IPD 765, it called that integrated national police. It's stated that the Napolcom should be the Ministry of the National Defense. RA 6975, the creation and declared that the PNP is the only police force that is national scope. RA 8558, RA 8551, reorganization of Act of 1998, amended the provision and reorganized the PNP for the purpose of reforming and professionalizing. So this is activity. So lesson summary. Babylonian clay tablet shows a report from a Babylonian officer to his superior. Clay tablet shows a report from a Babylonian officer to his superior. Mid-J, Egyptians organized police force but not part of the military. Temple guards and watchmen mentioned in the Holy Bible tasked with protecting the city and arresting violators of the king's order. Ancient Egypt and Babylonian. Ang Vigilis formed by Augustus, the first Roman emperor. They were armed with staves, wood, metal, tasked with keeping the peace and fighting fires. Babylonian clay tablet it shows the report from officer to his superior. Ang Mid-J, Egyptians organized police force but not part of military. Ang temple guards in the shown in the Bible task on protecting the city and arresting the violation of the king's order. Protecting the city, arresting violation of the king's order. Vigiles formed by Augustus, the first Roman emperor. They were armed with staves or wood or metal, as keeping the peace in fighting fires. So, social structures, from families to communities, require norms to conduct to ensure harmonious relationship. Police are crucial in maintaining this relationship through law enforcement. The effective of police organization depends its management, administration, in the trust of citizens. Pre-Spanish era, cabeza de barangay, head leader of the group, responsible for the discipline, punishment, and governance, appointed trustworthy individuals to protect the villages. Japanese occupation, Kempitai, Japanese military police responsible for maintaining peace in order in Manila adjacent areas until Gen. Douglas MacArthur returned on February 7, 1945. The Manila Police Department was renamed Metropolitan Constabulary under the Bureau of Constabulary Supervision. So, what is the difference between the police today compared to ancient times? The word police before does not necessarily mean police officers. It refers to civil authority which is tasked to maintain peace and order, enforce law, protect lives and properties, and ensure public safety. While used today, the word police would refer to police agency or members of the Philippine National Police and other law enforcement organizations authorized by the state to enforce law and maintain peace and order. In the Philippine Constabulary, the same with as its creation, Philippine Criminal Created Virtue Act 255 Bill PNP is created by RA 6975. So, Lesson 2, Fundamentals, Theories, Concept, and Police Service, the types of organizational structure. Lesson title, Fundamental Theories and Concept of Police Service and Types of Organization and Structure. Lesson objective, at the end of this module, you should able to first identify the theory and philosophy of police service and identify the types of organizational structure. Content notes. There are two fundamental theories of police service. First is home rule theory. This is practiced in the United States and England, where the governmental structure follows decentralized pattern. Decentralized pattern means the community is their superior. Policemen are civil servants whose the key duty is the preservation of public peace and security. Law enforcers or policemen are regarded as servants of the community who rely for the efficiency of their function upon the express of needs of the people. United States and in England. This is second is continental theory, home rule theory or continental theory. This theory, European countries where the governmental organization follows centralized pattern. Example is Spain, Italy, and France. People have no share or little participation with the duties nor connection with the police organization. Policemen are regarded as state or servants of the higher authorities. There are two types of theory, home rule theory o continental theory. Home rule theory, continental theory. Continental theory, centralized. They follow their higher authorities only. And then the home rule theory is the servant of the community. It follows the centralized pattern. So they serve peace, security of the community. Two theory, continental and home two theory continental. Centralized, decentralized. There are two concepts, old concept and modern concept in police. The old concept, this philosophy advocates that the yardstick the police conference is the increasing number of arrests, throwing offenders to detention facilities rather than trying to prevent them committing crimes. So, sa old concept, ilang theory that the more ang madakpan means 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 prevent them from committing crimes. Sa modern concept, the police regards of police as the first line of defense of the criminal justice system, an organ of crime prevention, the measurement of efficiency police efficiency is absence of crime. Absence of crime, increasing. Ang old concept is increasing number of arrests. Ang modern concept is the absence of crime. Crime prevention. So there are three types of the organizational structure: functional, line and staff. First is functional. It divides authority and responsibility within several specialists. The responsibility of each functional manager is restricted to the particular activity over which he has control regardless of who performs the action. So, it divides authority and responsibility between several specialists. It divides authority and responsibility between several specialists. The responsibility of each functional manager is restricted to the particular activity over which he has control regardless. The responsibility of each functional manager is restricted to the particular activity over which he has control regardless of who performs the action. So, maning functional. Ang functional means that it divides the authority between several specialists. Next is line. A straight line organization, also called the individual or military, the simplest and oldest and clearest form of organization. The authority and responsibility flow from the top to the bottom in a clear and unbroken line. Thus, the authority is absolute. So, straight line lang siya. Simplest and oldest and clearest form. Organization. So, the authority is flow from the top, even top, to bottom. So, line and staff. So, it is the combination of line and functional category. It merges the specialist specialists for units with line organization. Channels of the responsibility and authority are left intact since the specialist responsibility is to advise and provide expertise for the line units. So, principles of police organization: chain of command, line or chain from top to bottom. Second is unity or of command, one direct unit supervisor. Span of control, officer or supervisor should not have more subordinate. Delegation of authority, division of task of command. Command responsibility, commander is directly responsible. Chain of command, unity of command, span of control. Sa old and new concept, continental and home rule theory, 5 principles: the chain of command, unity of command, span of control, delegation of authority, and command responsibility. Span of control, delegation. So summary, home rule theory, law enforcement. Summary, home rule theory, law enforcement or policemen are regarded as servants of the community. Servants of the community. Mo ni ang home rule theory, who rely for the efficiency of their function upon the express needs of the people. continental theory, policemen are regarded as state observants of the higher authorities, mga servants of the functional type of organization. It divides authority and responsibility between several specialists. Ano yung functional? Line type of organization, a straight line organization, also called the individual or military in the simplest, oldest, and clearest form of organization. Line and staff, combination of line and functional category. It merges staff specialists for units with the organization. So, the Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG, is attached to organization. The Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG, in its organization. Lesson objective. At the end of this module, you should be able to first explain the powers function of DILG and identify the powers and function of attached organization of DILG. So, productivity tip. To better understand the lesson, it is better to read in advance and do some research relevant to subject matter. You can read it at home, your vacant, latest project. So, lesson preview, introduction. Hello dear student, how are you today? Do you know that DILG stands for in it works? Stands for in it works will we will Department of Interior and Local Government. Department of Interior and Local Government. We will learn today we are discussing the function of DILG, glimpse to its history and tri-bureau of DILG. So, the present Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG, traces its roots from the Philippine Revolution of 1897. On March 22, 1897, the Katipunan government established the first Department of Interior and Tijeros Convention. The present Department of the Interior, DILG, traces Interior and Local Government, traces its roots from the Philippine Revolution 1897. March 22, the Katipunan established the first Department of Interior in the Tijeros Convention. In 1950, the department was abolished and its function were transferred to the Office of Local Government, later renamed Local Government and Civil Affairs Office, under the Office of the President. In 1972, Presidential Decree No. 1 created the Department of Local Government and Community Development. The later implementation of number 7 on November 1, 1972. 10 years later, or in 1982, the DLGCD was reorganized and renamed Ministry of Local Government. Ministry of Local Government. By virtue of Executive Order number 777, in 1987, it was further reorganized and renamed Department of Local Government, DLG, by virtue of Executive Order number 262. On December 13, 1990, the DLG underwent reorganization into what is now known as the Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG. By the virtue of Republic number 6975, the law also created the Philippine National Police out of the Philippine Constabulary Integrated National Police. So, ang siya, nagsugod siya sa name. Office of Local Government, later renamed Local Government and Civil Affairs Office, under the Office of the President, Department of The Department of Local Government and Community Development. PCANP, which together with the National Police Commission was integrated under the new DILG, the Bureau of Fire Protection, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, BGMP, and Philippine Public Safety College and Observe National Bureau College and Observe National Actions Committee in Anti-Hijacking for Department of National Defense. So the DILG, it shall be headed by secretary who shall be appointed by the President, subject confirmation of the Commission of Appointments. Commission on Appointments. Powers and functions: assist the President in the exercise of general supervision over local government, advise the President in the promulgation of policies, rules, regulations, and other insurance and the general supervision over local governments and the public order and safety. Third, establish and prescribe rules, regulations, and other insurance implementing laws on public order and safety, the general supervision over local governments, and the promotion of local autonomy and community empowerment, and monitor compliance thereof. Provide assistance towards legislation regarding the local governance, laws, enforcement, and public safety. Establish and prescribe plans, policies, programs, and protects to promote the peace and order, ensure the public safety, and further strengthen the administrative, technical, and fiscal capabilities of the local government officers and personnel. Third, formulate plans, policies, and programs which will meet local emergencies arising from the natural and man-made disaster. Establish a system of coordination and cooperation among the citizenry, local executives in the department. 2. Ensure effective and efficient delivery of basic service to the public. Organize, train, and equip primarily for the performance of police function, police force that is national in scope of character. Defense. So, attached organization of the ILG. So these are the attached organization of the ILG. The National Police Commission or NAPOLCOM, Pambansang Komisyon ng Pulisya, is an agency attached to the Department of the Interior and Local Government, responsible for the administration and control of the Philippine National Police. It has the authority to administer the police entrance exam, to investigate police anomalies and regulation, to summarily dismiss erring police officers. RA 8551, restore function on NAPOLCOM. National Youth Commission, also known as the NYC government. National Youth Commission, National Police Commission, National Youth Commission especially addresses in issues surrounding the Filipino youth. It was founded by on June 30, 1995 via Republic Act 8044 or the Youth in Nation Building Act 1995. The NYC is the Philippine government's sole policy-making body on youth affairs, but also coordinates and implements programs designed to respond to raise awareness on youth issues. Its mandate is enshrined in the 1987 Philippine Constitution. The state reorganized the vital role of the youth in the nation building. It shall promote and protect their physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, social well-being. It
shall calculate in the youth patriotism, nationalism, and encourage the environment in public affairs. Respond to raise awareness on youth issues. Philippine Commission on Women. Philippine Commission on Women, formerly the National Commission of the Role of the Filipino Woman, is a government agency run by government of the Philippines with the intention of promoting and protecting the rights of the women in the Philippines. It was established on January 7, 1975 through Presidential Decree number 633. Philippine Public Safety College is Philippine Public Safety College is a public educational institution in the Philippines and conduct training for Tri-Bureau. Philippine Public Safety College. Philippine Public Safety College. Commission on Women. Public Safety College. Philippine Public Safety College. Philippine Commission on Women. National Youth Commission. National Police Commission. National Youth Commission. Philippine Commission on Women. Philippine Public Safety College. So, public educational in the Philippines. The Philippine Public Safety College system is the umbrella of the organization that comprises the National Police College, National Police Training Institute with its 18 regional training centers, RTCs, National Fire Training Institute, National Jail Management and Penology Training Institute, and the National Forensic Science Training. So, this is the umbrella of organization, Philippine Public Safety and Safety College, Philippine Public Safety College. So, next, National Commission on Muslim Filipinos. Filipino Pamansang Komisyon ng mga Pilipinong Muslim. Is a government agency. It's a agency in the Philippines whose objective is to promote the rights of Muslim Filipinos and to make them active participants in Philippine national building. NCMF as one of 12 agencies formerly formed from the office of the President, which now placed under the supervision of the Cabinet Secretary based on Executive Order Number 1 issued by President Rodrigo Duterte on July 4, 2016. On October 31, 2018, the Commission through Executive Order Number 67 was transferred to the Department of the Interior and Local Government along with the National Youth Commission and the Philippine Commission on Women as part of reorganization police of the Cabinet Secretary. Promote rights of our Muslim. So next is the Tri-Bureau. Tri-Bureau of Department of Interior and Local Government. There are 3: PNP, BFP, and BGMP. Philippine National Police, Bureau of Fire, BFP, Bureau of Fire and Protection, Bureau of Fire Protection, Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. So first, PNP, law enforcement, maintain peace in order to serve and protect, prevent crimes, effect the arrest of the criminal offenders, bring offenders to justice, and assist in their prosecution, exercise the general powers to make arrests, search, and seizure in accordance with the Constitution and pertinent laws. 5. Detain an arrested person for the period not beyond what is prescribed by law. Issue license for the possession of firearms, explosive coordinates with law. Supervise and control the training and operation of security agencies. National level, Metropolitan Manila, National Said Chief PNP, Regional level, Regional Director, Provincial Director, City Director, First Police General, Chief of PNP, Second Police Lieutenant, First Police General, Chief PNP, Second Police Lieutenant General, Deputy Chief of PNP for Administration, Third Police Lieutenant General, Deputy Chief of the PNP for Operation, Police Lieutenant General, Chief of Directorial Staff. Next is BFP, responsible for the prevention and suppression of all destructive fires. Be responsible for the enforcement of the fire code and other related laws. It shall have the power to investigate in causes of fires, and it is necessarily file the proper complaints with the city of provincial prosecutor who has jurisdiction over the case. 4. All elements of BFP upon diction of the President assist the AFP in meeting the national emergency. 5. Shall establish at least one fire station with adequate personal firefighting facilities and equipment in every provincial capital city and municipality subject to standard rules and regulation as may be promulgated. So, Bureau, PNP, Philippine National Police, they enforce law, they keep the peace in order in the community. BFP, Bureau of Fire Protection, they are responsible for the prevention and suppression of destructive fires. So BGMP, or also known as Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, formulate policies and guidelines in the administration of all district, city, and municipal jails nationwide. Formulate policies of jails nationwide. Implement strong security measures for the control of inmates. Provides for the basic needs of the inmates. Conduct activities for the development of inmates. Improve jail facilities. Promote general welfare and development personnel. 3 years sa BGMP. 3 to up is sa Bucor. So, summary, listen, the Department of the Interior Local DILG traces its roots from the Philippine Revolution of 1897. On March 12, 1897, the Katipunan government established the first Department of Interiors at the Tejeros Convention. So it is the secretary who shall appointed by the President subject confirmation the commission of the appointments of the bureaus of DILG, RBNP, BFE, and BGMP. Next, Module 5. So, lesson the powers and functions of the Philippine National Police. Lesson your objectives. At the end of this module, you should be able to first discuss the powers and functions of the PNP and the organizational setup of the PNP. In second, distinguish and identify the relevant leadership skills in law enforcement and public safety in answering the scenes. So, tributaries in the history of the ALG. Aside from you were also acquainted with the powers of functions of the Philippines National Police, Bureau of Protection, and Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. For this lesson, we will be discussing the organizational setup of the PNP, its structure, and the key position. But that, let us have the recap functions of PNP. Could you still remember them? Don't worry, I will help you. So here are the functions. Law enforcement, maintaining peace and order, prevent and investigate crimes, bring offenders to justice, exercise visit powers, Philippines Constitution and pertinent laws, detain an arrested person or period not beyond prescribed by the law, implements pertinent laws regulating firearms and explosive mission control, supervise the control and training and operation of security agencies. So, composition, the National Police initially consisted of the members of the PNP Mandate, Republic Act 6975, titled an act Philippine National Police under the reorganized Department of the Interior, local other forces of RA 8551. National Police Reform and Regulation, further amended by RA 9708. So, the Philippine National Police initially consisted of the members of the Integrated National Police, First 1 PD number 765, Philippines Constabulary assigned the Narcotic Command, NARCOM, with the Criminal Investigation Service, with the Technical Service of the AFP assigned with the Philippine Constabulary assigned with the Civilian Operator CIS, the regular operative as for inspection, investigation, intelligence branch. The PNP is composed of national police, regional officers, provincial officers, district offices, city or municipal action. So, at the national level, the PNP maintains its offices in Metropolitan Manila, which houses the directional staff, service staff, and its special support unit. At the regional level, the PNP have regional offices. So, regional offices including the National Capital Region. Each of these regional offices is headed by a regional director for the phase in order. Rank, Police Brigadier General. So, on the provincial level, the PNP have provincial level provincial offices, each headed by the provincial director. In large provinces, police districts may be established by the commission to be headed by district director. At the city municipal level, the PNP have city police offices or municipal police station, each headed by city director or chief of police. Sa national level, PNP located sa metropolitan. Sa regional level, sa each region offices, National Capital Region, each of these regional headed by regional director. Directorial staffs. So, ang rank ani is Police Brigadier General sa higher. So, there are provincial, regional police, regional offices, provincial offices, and district offices, national offices, regional offices, provincial offices. Provincial offices is the provincial offices, provincial general, provincial director in large provincial police district may be established by district director, provincial director, district director, or the city director. So, sa provincial director, key points, sa provincial director, rank, Police General, First in Command, Chief of the PNP. Director, Police General, Police Major, rank Police Lieutenant General, Chief of Police, Provincial Director, District Director. PNP key position, Regional Director, Regional Director, NCR Director. So, rank Police General, Police Lieutenant General. So, first Command Chief of the PNP, second Command Deputy Chief of PNP, fourth NCR Director, third in Command Deputy Chief of the PNP Operation, fourth in Command Chief of Direction. Rank Police Lieutenant General, rank Police Lieutenant General. So, Director and the staff, the heads of the various direction. Inspector General, head of the Inspectorate Division. So heads of the administrative and organ support division, Police Brigade General, Police Major General, Police Brigadier General. Rafael Grame. Rafael Grame, Police Brigadier General, Police Brigadier Antonio C. Torres. Torres. Organization. So this is the PNP organizational structure. So first is the Chief PNP. Under niya is Deputy Chief PNP for Administration, Legitimacy for Operation. So under po niya ang Internal Affairs, Consular Force, Claro. The under niya is the Chief of Directorial Staff. So sa yan is for Logistic Director, Directorial Staff, Administration, 11 units, Operational Support. So powers and functions of the Philippine National Police. Powers and functions of the Philippine National Police. A. Enforce powers and functions of the enforce all laws, ordinance relative to the protection of lives and properties. B. Maintain peace and order. Enforce laws, ordinance relative to the protection of lives and properties. Maintain peace in order to take all necessary steps to ensure public safety. Investigate and prevent crimes. Investigate and prevent crimes, effect the arrest of the criminal offenders, bring offenders to justice, and assist in their prosecution. They exercise the general powers to make arrest, search, seizure with the Constitution and the pertinent laws. Detain or arrested person not beyond what is prescribed by law, informing the person detained on his rights and Constitution. F. Issue license for possession of firearms, inclusiveness in accordance with law. G. Supervise the control and training operations of the security agencies and issue license to the operate security agencies and to security guards and private detectives for the practice of their professions. And H. Perform such other duties, exercise all other functions may provided by law. In addition, the PNP shall absorb the office of the National Action Committee on Anti-Hijacking of the Department of National Defense, all the functions of the present Philippine Air Force Security Command, as well as the police function of the Coast Guard. In order to perform powers function efficiently and effectively, the PNP shall provide with the adequate land, sea, air capabilities necessary, material means resources. So summary, the Philippine National Police was created by Virtue Republic Act 6975, entitled an act of establishing the Philippine under the organized department of the interior, local government, and other purposes. This was amended by RA 8551, the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998, and further amended to RA 9708 8551. So there are all the new. So ang RA 6917 consists with Director General, Director General, Deputy Director General, Director, Chief Superintendent, Senior Superintendent, Superintendent, Chief Inspector, Senior Inspector, Inspector, SPO4, SPO3, SPO2, SPO1, PO3, PO2, PO1. So sa new under RA 11200, Police General, Police Lieutenant General, Police Major General, Police Brigade General, Police Colonel, Police Lieutenant Colonel, Police Major, Police Captain, Police Lieutenant, Police Executive Master Sergeant, Police Chief Master Sergeant, Police Senior Master Sergeant, Police Master Sergeant, Police Staff Sergeant, Police Corporal, Patrolman, and Patrol Women. So, Module 6, Lesson Title, PNP Appointment, Qualification, Status, Appointing Authorities, and the waivers for appointment. So, at the end of the module, you should be able to first identify the roles of the PNP appointment. So, hello, lesson preview review. Hello, how are you? How do you find previous lesson? It was exciting and indeed very informative. Let us have recap. Can you tell me what previous topic was? Wow, good. If you remember the previous topic, let me pose a question. Can a senior high school graduate be eligible for appointment in the PNP regardless of its run? What do you think? Is it yes or no? Why do you think so? Well, you will know it later. Do we have aspiring policeman here? Or there? Do you want to? Police appointment is the process of designating a police officer at the particular function, duty, and responsibility. So, general qualification for appointment into PNP under Section 14 of RA 8551 and RA 9708, 8551 and RA 9708. A citizen of the Philippines, a person of good moral conduct, must have passed the psychiatric, psychological, drug, and physical test. Psychiatric, psychological, drug, and physical test to be administered by the PNP or by NAPOLCOM, accredited government hospital for the purpose of determining physical and mental health. D. Must possess a formal baccalaureate degree form from our organized institution of learning. So, must be eligible in accordance with the standard set of commission, must not have been dishonorable discharged from military employment or dismissed for cause of civilian position in government. Next, must not have been convicted by final judgments of an offense or crime involving moral turpitude. Next, must be at least 1 meter in 62 centimeters, 1 meter, 62 meters in height for male, and 1 meter in 57 for female. 62 for male, 52 1 at least 1 meter and 62 centimeter, 1 meter and 57 centimeters, A11549. Must weight not more than or less like kilograms of 75 from the standard weight corresponding of height, age, and sex. And for a new applicant, not be less 21 or more than 30 years of age. PNP entrance exam RA 11131 exempted are cream 11131. Provide further the PNP who are already in the service of an effective public update from Bob 1 must be given 5 years to obtain the minimum medical qualification, preferably enforcement related courses. So based on RA 8551 and service personnel are given 1 year to satisfy the weight requirement. So patrolman, patrolwomen, to police executive master sergeant are appointed by the PNP regional director for regional level by the chief of the PNP for national level. B. Police lieutenant to police lieutenant colonel. colonel, appointed by the chief of the PNP as recommended by the immediate superiors and rest attested by Civil Service Commission. C. Police Colonel to Police Lieutenant General appointed by the President the recommendation of the Chief of the PNP with proper endorsement by the Chairman of the Civil Service Commission and subject to commission by the Commission appointments. The Police General appointed by the President from the senior officers from among senior officers down to rank of Police Brigade General. The service subject to commission by the Commission on appointments. See waivers for initial appointments to the PNP Section 15 or 8551 age, height, weight, educational appointment, age, applicant must 20 years old to 35 years old. Height, automatically granted to cultural minorities. Weight, to comply within 6 months. Educational attainment entered without a baccalaureate degree or possession in 72. Is given 5 years to obtain the degree. RA 9708. So, this is status of the PNP appointment. So, temporary and permanent. Ang permanent issued by PNP personnel who has actually completed all requirements necessarily for the rank. Temporary, the status of newly recruited PNP member who meets all the required minimum completion except the training requirement for an applicant who enter the PNP via waiver program. So, module 6. Summary, the general qualification for appointment of PNP were defined are under section 30 RA 6975 but later was amended by RA 8 and further amended by RA 9708. PNP Regional Director, Chief, PNP, and President as the appointing authority over PNP. So, next is Module 7. So, in the previous session, we talk about PNP general qualification for appointment, status of the appointment, appointing officers and members in waivers program of the PNP. This time, we will be dealing with the PNP attrition and promotion system. Have you heard of any police officer being attrited from the service or someone from the PNP organization who has been promoted to next higher rank? Oh really, that's good. Do you know how all this happened? You need not to worry because in this module will help you understand it. What is promotion? Promotion refers to status change of a policeman amounting to dynamic elevation of qualified and serving members. Promotion refers to status change. Promotion refers to status change. Policeman amounting to dynamic elevation. Opportunity support to assignment duties of greater importance. Promotion is a moral attrition. Other way around it could be separation, retirement from service. So, attrition system for uniform personnel RA 8551. So, Section 25, attrition by attainment of maximum tenure in position. So, the maximum tenure of PNP members holding key position is hereby prescribed as follows. Sa position, Chief, Deputy Chief, at sa Chief, maximum tenure 4 years. Sa Deputy Chief, 4 years. Director of Staff Service, 4 years. Regional Directors, 6 years. Provincial and City Directors is 9 years. Under Section 26, attrition by relief, PNP uniform personnel who has relieved for just cause and has not been given an assignment within 2 years after such relief shall be retired or separated. Section 27, Attrition and demotion and position of rank in PNP personnel. Any PNP personnel, civilian or uniform who is relieved and assigned to the position lower than what is established for his or her grade in the PNP staffing pattern who shall not be assigned to a position commensurate to his or her grade within 18 months after such demotion and position shall be retired or separated. Any PNP personnel, civilian or uniform was relieved and assigned to position lower than what established for his or her grade of PNP. So section 28, attrition and non-promotion, and any PNP personnel who have not been promoted for a continuous period of 10 years shall be retired or separated. Section 29, attrition other means the PNP member officer with at least 5 years or of accumulated active service shall be separated based on any following factors. Then, efficiency based poor performance during at least 2 years successive annual rating periods. Inefficiency based on poor performance for 3 cumulative annual ratings period. Physical or mental incapacity to perform police functions and duties, or D. Failure to pass required entrance examination twice or finish required career courses except for justifiable reason. So, A. Promotion by virtue of position. B. Regular promotion. C. Special or meritorious promotion. Sa kinds of PNP promotion, there are 3 kinds of PNP promotion. Promotion by virtue of position. Any PNP personnel designated to any key position whose rank is lower than which is required for such position shall, after 6 months of occupying the same, be entitled to rank adjustment corresponding to the position. So B. Regular promotion. Promotion granted to police officers meeting the mandatory requirement for promotion to the position. Special or meritorious promotion extended to any member of PNP for acts of conspicuous courage and gallantry at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, or selected such as nationwide or search conducted by the PNP or any accredited civics organization. Preferences for promotion: appropriate eligibility, competency and vacancy, seniority. So, promotion by virtue of position. Promotion by virtue of position, regular position, special or more special or meritorious promotion. Promotion by virtue of position. Promotion by virtue of position. Promotion by virtue of promotion by virtue of position. Promotion by virtue of position, regular promotion, special or mandatorious promotion. Meritorious promotion. So, summary. Republic Act 8551 provides the attrition program of the PNP. These are the attrition by attainment of maximum tenure in position, attrition by relief, attrition by demolition, attrition over rank, attrition by non-promotion, and attrition and other means. There are 3 kinds of PNP promotion. There are promotion by virtue of position, regular promotion, and special promotion. So, facts. So, is the institution of the criminal action complaint against a police officer shall bar to promotion? Is the institution of criminal action or complaint against police officer shall bar? No, please read the excerpt of RA 9708. The institution of criminal action or complaint against police officers shall not be barred to promotion, provided, however, that upon finding probable cause, notwithstanding any challenge that may be raised against that finding, thereafter the concerned police officer shall be eligible for promotion. Police officer shall be ineligible in promotion provided no further. This is the cause remains unresolved after 2 years from the aforementioned determination and probable cause. Year shall considered for mention in the event he is held guilty of the crime by final judgment. Such provision shall be recalled without prejudice to the imposition of the appropriate penalties under applicable laws and regulation. Provide furthermore that if the complaint filed against the police officer is for crime including but not limited to a violation of human rights punishable by reclusion perpetua, life imprisonment in court, as determined that the evidence of guilt is strong, said police officer shall be completely ineligible for promotion during the pendency the said criminal case. So when separation or retirement PNP personal nutrition, Section 30, retirement and separation under preceding section, any personnel law dismissed from PNP percent Section 25 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 29 or shall be retired if he or she rendered at least 20 years of service, separated if he or she has rendered less than 20 years of service, unless the personnel is disqualified by law to receive such benefit. So, Module 8. So, lesson title, PNP Administrative Disciplinary System. Lesson objectives. At the end of this module, you should be able to first identify the appropriate disciplinary mechanism, who possess jurisdiction in citizens' complaints and breach of internal discipline. Second, explain the process of appealing decision, the administrative bodies, regional appellate board and national appellate board. Discuss the jurisdiction of IAS as disciplinary mechanism. So, productivity tip. To better understand the lesson, it is highly recommended to have RA 6970 and RA 8551 while commenting the rule. Scan the topic today on the above mentioned laws. Use it as your reference. You may also browse to the internet. So, A, lesson review, introduction. So, good day students, how are you? So, our lesson objective for the day 1 is to identify the appropriate disciplinary mechanism for this jurisdiction on citizens' complaints and branch of internal discipline. So, understand the process of appealing decision to the administrative bodies, board, national appellate board. 3. Understand the jurisdiction of IAS as a disciplinary mechanism. So, B, main lesson activity content notes. So, Section 5.2, Section 41, Republic Act Number 6975 is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 41, Citizens Complaint. Any complaint by natural or jurisdictional person against any member of the bench shall he brought before the following. Any complaints. Chief of Police, where the offense is punishable by withholding privileges, restriction to specified limits, suspension or forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof for a period not exceeding 15 days. So, mayors of cities and municipalities where the offense is punishable by withholding a privilege, restriction or specified limits, suspension or forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof for a period of not least 16 days but not exceeding 30 days. So, People's Law Enforcement Board as the created under Report Section 43 thereof where the offense is punishable by withholding of privileges, restriction to the specified limits, suspension or forfeiture or salary, or any combination thereof for a period exceeding 30 days or by dismissal. The pleb, People Law Enforcement Board, the central receiving entity for citizens complaint against the officers and the members. So, composition, any member of the Sangguniang Panglungsod Bayan chosen by his respective sanggunian, any barangay captain of the city or municipality concerned chosen by association of the barangay captains, and three members, other 3 members who are removable only for cause to be chosen by the local peace and other council from among respected members of the community known for the probity and integrity, one of whom must be a woman and another member of the bar, or in the absence thereof, a college graduate or the principal of the central elementary school in the locality. Section 43 of RA 6975. The procedure, the pleb by majority vote of all its members. Chairman shall determine whether or not respondent officer or member of the PNP is guilty of the charge upon document based. It shall decided within 60 days from the time the case has been filed with the pleb. The procedure in the pleb shall be the summary nature conducted in accordance with the due process, but without strict regard to technical rules of evidence. Decisions. The decision of the pleb shall become final executory provided the decision involving demotion or dismissal from the service may be appealed by other party regional appellate board within 10 days from receipt of the coming of decision. So, RA 68, RA 551, Section 68. So, the chairman of pleb shall be elected from among its members. The term of the office of the members of pleb shall be period of 3 years from assumption of office. Section 69 of RA 8551. Convention members of pleb with civic duty. However, pleb members will be paid for gym and shall be provided with life insurance coverage as may determined by the city or municipal council from the city municipal funds. So, internal discipline. On dealing with major offenses involving internal discipline found to have been committed by any regular member of their respective commands, the duly designated supervisors and equivalent officers of the PNP shall, after due notice and summary hearing, exercise disciplinary powers as follows. We summarily impose an administrative punishment of admonition or reprimand, restriction to specified limits, withholding of privileges, forfeiture of salary or suspension or any combination of the foregoing, provided that in all cases the total period shall not exceed 15 days. Second, provincial director and supervisors may summarily impose administrative punishment, admonition, reprimand, custody, withholding privileges, forfeiture, salary suspension, or any combination for when provided that in all cases the total period shall not exceed 30 days. So 3. Police regional directors or equivalent supervisors shall have the power to impose upon the members of disciplinary punishment of dismissal service. He may also impose the administrative punishment of admonishment, reprimand, restricted custody, withholding of privileges, suspension, or forfeiture of salary, demotion, or any combination of foregoing, provided that in all cases the total period should not exceed 60 days. Shall have sa Chief PNP shall have power to impose disciplinary penalty, dismissal from the service, suspension, forfeiture of salary, or any combination thereof. The service suspension of not exceeding 180 days, provided further that the chief of the PNP shall have authority to place police personnel under restrictive custody during the pendency of a grave administrative case filed against him, even after filing of criminal complaint grave in nature against such police personnel. The National Appellate Board shall compose of 4 regular commissioners and shall be chaired by the executive officers. The board shall consider appeals from the decision of the chief PNP. So this regional appellate board, there shall at least one regional appellate board per administrative region in the country, to be composed of a senior officer of the regional commission as chairman and one representative each from the PNP and regional peace order council as members. It shall consider appeals from the decision of the regional directors, other officials, mayors, and plebs. Penalty of disciplinary action. The disciplinary action imposed upon member of PNP shall be final and executory, provided that is disciplinary action imposed by the regional director or by the pleb involving demotion or dismissal from the service may be appealed to the regional appellate board within 10 days from receipt of the copy notice of decision, provided further that disciplinary action imposed by chief of the PNP involving the demotion or dismissal may be appealed to the National Appellate Board within 10 days receipt or thereof. NAB and the RAB shall decide the appeal within 60 days from the receipt of the appeal. That the failure the regional appellate board to the act the appeal within the said period shall render the decision final category without prejudice, however, for the filing appeal by other party with the secretary. So, jurisdiction of IAS over PNP members: investigate complaints and gather evidence in support of an open investigation proactively of its own accord motu proprio, automatically conduct inspection and audit of PNP personnel, investigate complaints and gather evidence in support of an investigation, conduct summary hearings, PNP members facing administrative charges, submit periodic report on the assessment, analysis, and evaluation of director behavior of RN personnel units to the chief PNP and the commission, file appropriate criminal cases against PNP members, bear of course evidence warranty, assist to the prosecution of the case. F. provide the assistance of the Office of the Ombudsman in case involving the personnel of the PNP. So, the IAS shall also conduct motu proprio automatic investigation of the following cases. A. Incidents where police personnel is charged a firearm. So, incidents where death, serious physical injury, or any violation of human rights occurred in the conduct of police operation. C. Incidents where evidence was compromised, tampered with, obliterated, or lost while custody of police personnel. Incidents where suspect of the custody of the police was seriously injured, and incidents where established rules of engagement have been violated. So, IAS or organization, the Inspector General, Inspector Deputy. So, summary, any complaint by natural jurisdictional person against a member of PNP shall be brought before the following: Chief of Police, Mayors of Cities, Mayors of Cities, Mayors of Cities. Dice when the pleb shall be centrally receiving against the officers member of the PNP. There are two disciplinary after it. Board of the PNP, and these are two: National Appellate Board and the Regional Appellate Board. National Appellate Board and Regional Appellate Board do now consider appeals from the decision of the Chief of the PNP when consider the appeals facing original directors, officials, mayors, and the plebs. The Internal Affairs Service, although part of the PNP, has attribute of the independent autonomous unit with the powers to act on matters within its jurisdiction without having to wait for instruction from the Chief PNP. So, facts: does pleb have dismissal powers over hearing members of the PNP? No, based on Section 3 of RA 851, summary dismissal powers is vested on National Police Commission, PNP Police, and PNP Regional Directors. The National Police Commission, the Chief of the PNP and PNP Regional Directors, after due notice and summer hearings, may immediately remove or dismiss any respondent PNP member in any following cases. A. When the charge is serious, the evidence of full guilt is strong. Responded is repeatedly charged and the reasonable grounds believe guilt of the charges. See, when the respondent is guilty of the serious offense and contempt conduct and becoming of a police officer. So, second, how does become member of the IAS? Entry of the IAS voluntary and subject to rigid screening where the PNP personnel who have the least 5 years experience and learn process who have no derogatory record shall be considered except members of the bar may enter the service laterally. So, this next lesson title: Powers and Functions of the National Police Commission. Lesson objectives: At the end of this module, you should be able to discuss the powers of functions of the NAPOLCOM. A lesson preview, review, introduction. Today's modules deals the power and functions of NAPOLCOM. We will be discussing the powers and functions of the NAPOLCOM in its relation to our Philippine National Police, its legal basis, and its also mandate. So, B main lesson, activity 1, content notes. The NAPOLCOM traces its roots from the creation of the Police Commission under Republic Act 4864, Police Act of 1966. It was reorganized the National Police Commission, NAPOLCOM, in 1972. The NAPOLCOM is under the office of the President before being transferred to the Ministry of the National Defense 1975 by virtue of Presidential Decree 765, Police Integration Law in 1980. The agency was returned to the office of the President by Executive Direct Order number 1040 in 1990 with the establishment of the Philippine National Police. The present NAPOLCOM was created with a newly reorganized Department of the Interior, Local Government, DILG, under the Republic Act number 6975. The agency authority was further strengthened and expanded by the Republic Act 8551, otherwise known Philippine National Police Reform and Reformation Act of 1998, Republic Act of 8551, also Republic Act 6975, carving NAPOLCOM out of the DILG organization and making it simply attached agency. The attachment of NAPOLCOM to the unit preserved its independence at the sole administrator controlling the National Police Force under the Article 16, Section 6 of the 1997 Police Constitution. Legal basis. So, the Philippine Constitution provides that the state shall establish and maintain one police force, which shall be national police in scope of civilian and character, to be administered and controlled by National Police Commission. So, Republic Act number 6975, December 13, 1990, otherwise known as Department of the Interior and Local Government Act of 1990, created the National Police Commission. 4864 creation of the NAPOLCOM. The National Police Commission, NAPOLCOM, administers the National PNP, advises the President on all matters involving police functions and administration, and renders to the President Congress annual report in its activities and accomplishments. It's also recommended to the President a crime prevention program. So, Section 14, Powers and Functions of the Commission. The Commission shall exercise the following powers function. A. Exercise administrative control and operational supervision over the Philippine National Police by summoning the power to 1. Develop policies and promulgate a police manual prescribing rules and regulation for efficient organization, administration, and operation, including criteria for manpower, allocation, distribution, and deployment, recruitment, selection, promotion, and retirement of personnel, and conduct of qualifying, entrance, promotional examination for uniform members. 2. So, examine the audit of the after established the standards for such purposes on a continuing basis, the performance, activities, and facilities of the police agencies throughout the country. 3. Establish system of uniform crime reporting. 4. Conduct an annual self-report survey and compile statistical data for the accurate assessment of the crime situation, the thorough evaluation of the efficiency and effectiveness of all police units in the country. 5. Approve and modify plans and programs on education and training, logistical requirements, communications, records, reformation systems, crime laboratory, crime prevention and crime reporting. 6. Affirm, reverse or modify through the National Appellate Board personal disciplinary action involving demolition or dismissal from the service imposed upon members of the Philippine National Constabulary. Exercise appellate jurisdiction through the regional appellate boards over administrative cases against policemen and over decision on claims for police benefits and prescribed minimum standard for arms equipment and uniforms and after consol and after consultation the Philippine Heraldry Commission for insignia of ranks award the Medals of Honor with uniforms and after consultation the Philippine Heraldry days from the Effectivity of this Act as the standards of the uniform personnel of the PNP must revise which should be clearly distinct from the military and reflective act. The standards of the uniform personnel of PNP must be revised should be clearly distinct from the military and effective and civilian character of the police. 9. Issues of buena and sub buena de success the common matters pertaining to discharge of its own powers and duties and designated who among its personnel can issue such processes and administer oaths connection therewith. 10. Inspect and assist the compliance of the PNP if the established criteria for manpower, allocation, distribution, the employment to their impact, community, and the crime situation and thereafter create appropriate guidelines for maximization of resources and effective utilization of the PNP personnel. 11. Monitor performance of the local chief executive as deputies of the commission. And 12. The monitor and investigate police anomalies and irregularities. B. Advise the President on all matters involving the police function and administration. C. Under the President and the Congress an annual report, its activities and accomplishments during the 30 days after the end of the calendar year. Which shall include appraisal of the conditions obtaining in the organization and administration of police agencies in the municipalities, cities, and provinces throughout the country, and recommendations for appropriate remedial legislation. D. Recommended to the President through the Secretary within 60 days before the commencement of each calendar year for crime prevention. And E. Perform such other function necessary to carry out the provision of the Act as the President may direct. So, this is the summary. The National Police Commission, NACOLCOM, administers and controls the Philippine National Police. PNP advised the President on all matters involving police functions and administrations and renders to the President of Congress an annual report on its activities and accomplishments, and it also recommends to the President a crime prevention arrest. Facts. Question: what type of exam does the NAPOLCOM administer? The NAPOLCOM exam consists two types, the entrance exam and the promotional exam. The entrance exam is for those aspire to become police officers and have not yet joined the PNP The test of applicants' abilities in communication skills, logical reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and general knowledge. On the other hand, a promotional exam is for active members of the PNP who want to advance in their career or to the higher rank. It measures their knowledge, skills, and the competence of duty responsibilities to their current rank and rank they are aiming for. So, Module 10, the powers functions of the National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, under RA 10867, under RA 10867. So, lesson objective. At the end of this module, you should be able to first trace the history of National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, identify the functions of the National Bureau of Investigation. NBI is provided under RA 10867. So, Bureau of Investigation. Our lesson today is entitled The Development of the National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, and its function. So our lesson objectives for today is the following: trace the history of National Bureau of Investigation, identify the function of National Bureau of Investigation, NBI is provided RA 10867. Do you know how the agency work? Don't know? We will think later. The NBI government entity that is civilian in character and national in scope, which is under the Department of Justice. It is headed by a director and with an assistant director and 6 months deputy directors for special investigation services. SAS, Regional Operations Services, ROS, Intelligence Services, Technical Services, Administrative Services, Controller Services. So, history of Bureau Investigation. National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, saw its inception on November 13, 1936 upon approval of Commonwealth Act number 181 by the legislature. It was branched to the late President Manuel L. Quezon and Jose A. Yolo, then Secretary of Justice, thus with organizing a division of investigation or DI pattern. After United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, Thomas Dogan, a veteran American police captain from the New York Police Department, and Flaviana C.J.C. Guerrero, the only Filipino member of the United States of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. During the Japanese occupation, the DI was affiliated with the Bureau of Internal Revenue in the Philippines, constabulary known as the Bureau of Investigation. Subsequently, during the post-liberation period, all available military investigation agents were recruited by the U.S. Army CIC as the investigator. Since then, Bureau assumed increasingly significant role. Thus, on June 19, 1947, in naming it what it presently known, the National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, it was further amended by RA 10867 and reorganizing and modernizing NBI. Its primary function to investigate crimes of other offenses against the laws of the Philippines, both to civil initiative or when the public interest may require. So, Section 4 of RA 10867, powers of functions of NBI. So, first, undertake investigation and detection of crimes and offenses enumerated under Section 5 thereof. Issue for the appearance of any persons, investigation, production of documents through its officers from the ranks of regional director to director. Act as national clearinghouse of criminal records and other related information for the benefit of the government. render technical assistance to the government agencies and municipalities when so requested. Extend assistance in cases involving extradition and mutual legal assistance when requested by the Department of Justice. F. Establish the maintain a forensic and scientific research center which shall serve as the primary center of the forensic scientific search for reference to scientific knowledge in criminal investigation, detection, evidence collection, preservation, and other providing necessary training thereof. Establish and mainly cyber investigation and assessment center which shall serve as the nerve center of computer information, technologies data on the cybercrime cases, computer intrusion, threats, and other related crimes activities. So, I request the assistance of the Philippine National Police PNP, Armed Force of the Philippines, or any agencies of the government including the government-owned and or controlled operation and its anti-crime drive. Such assistance may include the use of the agency's personnel and facilities upon prior approval by the head of the agency concerned. So, K. Conduct intelligence operation in further foregoing powers and functions. I. Enter into any contract or transaction for the acquisition of ownership, possession, administration, lease, disposition, or acceptance or real personal property. Personal property in its name, subject to the approval of the Secretary of Justice. FH established the modern NBI clearance identification center containing all delegatory and criminal records and civilians identification records including their identifying marks and characteristic and fingerprint database as well as dental records pursuant to the Presidential Decree number 15/7/5 requiring the practitioners of dentistry to keep records of their patients. Maintain for purpose investigation and forensic requirements of the NBI relevant to database such as ballistic records of firearms, including but not limited to data, ownership, profession, and other related identifying circumstances in the use as in the data bank, and perform such other function as the President and Secretary of Justice may assign. Jurisdiction of the NBI, Section 5, RA 10867. So, human trafficking causes and all airports in the Philippines. B. Extrajudicial, extralegal killings committed by the state's security forces against media practitioners and activists. C. Killing of justice and judges. D. Violation of Republic Act number 10175, our no sub Act 107 Cybercrime Prevention Act. Cases referred to the integrity or coordination of council. Violation of anti-dummy law. Cases involving threats and threats against the President, Vice President, Senate, Speaker of the House, President to the Justice Supreme Court, transnational crime pursuant and executing agents. I. Identification of the dead victims in case of mass fatality incident caused by natural disaster. J. Evaluation of criminal, economic, and financial or white collars. RA 8762, 8484, RA 8293, RA 8799, PD 1689. So, summary, the NBI is government entity that is civilian character in national scope, which is under the Department of Justice. Its primary function is to investigate crimes and other offenses against the laws Philippines both its initiative or when public interest may require. RA 10867 is known as National Bureau of Investigation, Reorganization, and Modernization. Act Section 5 is the laws jurisdiction agency conduct investigations sa human trafficking cases or reports Philippines extrajudicial killing and other and more. And the NBI headed by Director assisted by two Deputy Directors for Administration of Special 7 died service. Section 8 provides the minimum qualification of agent. So this is my 2 hours module reading. So thank you sir.